Good afternoon, family. I'm Curtis Cheatham Jr., and welcome to This Week in Black America. And here's a rundown of this past week's highlights. The president this week made some unsubstantiated claims linking Tylenol use by pregnant women and autism. Should we trust him or the doctors? You decide. While we seem to have eluded the rapture this week, another government shutdown looms on the horizon, so we'll talk about that. Laura Loomer let her racism flag fly freely this week, and the persecution of a political enemy has begun, with former FBI Director Comey being indicted this week. And there are two high-profile philanthropic donations this week, and a man gets $25 million in exchange for 38 years of his life. Is that a fair trade? We'll talk about it. We're going to get into all of that and so much more coming up on This Week in Black America. And as always, I got my brother with me, Brother Deshone. How are you this afternoon, brother?
I feel lovely. Great to see you as always. Welcome to everybody who's listening in or watching us. We are live on the Hello Black America YouTube channel, as well as the Brother Deshone Facebook channel. If you're going to spend some time with us, hit the like button. We're here every Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern time. And what we discuss is the happenings this week, over the last 6-7 days, and specifically how it affects us in the Black community. So that's our particular spin on it. Curtis and I, if you've joined us before, we try to make things lighthearted. Sometimes we get a little, sometimes we take serious subjects and we end up, laughing. As Black people tend to do. We tend to have to make some serious subjects not as heavy. And so we try to do that. So we try to, when we leave around, the 1:45, 2 p.m. hour, we don't want you feeling like, oh man, we just got dumped on. So we have a lot of fun here. We do some laughing, but we do have some serious things to discuss because these are serious times. So again, if you're gonna spend some time with us, hit that like button and stay close to your keyboard. We call you our studio audience and our co-host for a reason. You guys add to the discussion. Maybe there's things that we missed this week that you share in the comments. We always bring your comments right here into the show, and we look forward to having you here every week. So with that said, welcome, and always a pleasure to be here with you. Where do we start today, Curtis?
Well, sadly, I want to start at the top because I just got some news earlier this morning about Assata Shakur. If that name's not familiar to you, she is a former, of course, Black Panther, Black Liberation Army activist. She's been apparently hiding out for the past several years because she was reported and allegedly implicated in the shooting of a New Jersey state trooper, and charged that she's always denied, but she's fled to Cuba back in 1979 and has lived there in exile for years. And apparently we have word that she has passed on. So our best wishes to her and her family. Of course, she was the mother of the late, great Tupac Shakur as well. So any thoughts on Assata Shakur reportedly passing today?
Well, now, of course, God bless her soul. She was, very much a liberator. If you guys know how, what went down with the death of the state trooper and them flying her to Cuba. But I thought, Curtis, that the rumors were she was Tupac's mom. I thought it was, the Afina Shakur, because my dad subscribes to the fact that
right. You're right.
Well, listen, again, you guys know I talk about my dad a lot, but he swears up and down this is Tupac's mom, but you can't argue him down on it. It's like, so
you are correct. My bad on that.
That's okay. But when she was allegedly, like Curtis mentioned, involved in a shootout in New Jersey, right? Wasn't it? I think it was here in New Jersey, New Jersey state trooper. Absolutely. And they end up flying her to Cuba, and she was there for a very long time. And when Curtis just told me the news that broke, I was like, wow, I didn't even know they were really still following Assata Shakur and her moves. And, you know, apparently they were. So, you know, she's definitely a legend in Black culture and a legend in the United States in history. So, you know, God bless her. You know, God bless her. Hopefully
Amen.
she has some peace in the latter
her
years of
family.
her life. So,
absolutely. Well, we got a bunch to talk about here on the shores here of America. I guess we'll start with your president. I didn't know he was so tied into the medical community. This week, did you see any of the coverage of this week, my brother? I hope you did.
I kept seeing the headlines all week about Tylenol and yeah. You want to break down the whole happening, because a lot of us were seeing the headlines. We kept seeing Tylenol, we kept seeing autism, and we kept seeing a picture of President Trump. How does this all connect?
First of all, and I'll just go here to start. As the president, this is just my 2 cents worth, adding this hopefully to the president, and maybe this is something that he can learn in the future. If you're going out to speak on a subject and you've got a prepared speech, it is probably incumbent upon you to go out there and actually make sure that you are clear on the pronunciation of everything that you are going to speak about. And the president, of course, got out there on the stage. He had Dr. Oz in the background and a few other people behind him. And he went on this little seemingly random conversation about, let's see, how do we say this? What he was talking about was acetaminophen, which is the active ingredient in Tylenol. And he went on to make these claims that pregnant women should not use Tylenol. Now, if you have ever been pregnant, or if you have ever been in a relationship with a woman who has been pregnant, you know that in that time, they don't give you any kind of drugs. If you have a headache, if you have a fever, pretty much anything that's going on, they're like, okay, take some Tylenol. That's about the basics of as far as you can go as far as medication while you're impregnated. And now, and this has been going on for years, decades even, and now the president, seemingly unsolicited, comes out and makes this bold claim that we shouldn't use Tylenol. It's a no-no. And he went on this strange rant about why we shouldn't be using Tylenol. He didn't really give any reasons. He just said it was bad. Tylenol bad. No use. Tylenol bad. Mm-hmm. And that was pretty much the extent of his his rant as far as Tylenol use is concerned. Now, I want to get your thoughts on that first before we go too much deeper on that. Your thoughts on the president making medical claims now?
I mean, it's not too different than when he said drink a little bleach, right? Wasn't he the one during COVID that said, drink a little bleach if I'm not mistaken. If I'm not mistaken. So, President Trump doesn't have the best track record on giving public health advice.
Clearly.
I really think this was in the speech to the UN, right, where the teleprompter got cut.
No. This was a different. No, he didn't make this speech at the UN. This was a different speech. The UN was a whole nother debacle. That's a whole different thing. So check this out. We have a clip. I'm going to bring it in here, mm-hmm. And some of you may have seen this. This was going around literally all week long. Like, this is all we saw. Can we hear this?
Taking Tylenol is not good. All right, I'll say it. It's not good.
In a rambling statement, long on opinion, but with little new science, President Donald Trump said the FDA would tell doctors that the use of acetaminophen or Tylenol in pregnancy can increase the risk of autism.
If you're pregnant, don't take Tylenol.
FDA Commissioner Dr. Marty McCary pointing.
And what was interesting is if you guys saw basically the social media memes or the posts that were going around, they were saying that autism was discovered in the early 1900s. I want to say like around 1910, but Tylenol wasn't invented until several decades later, like I believe in the 50s. So where's the connection there? I mean, what do we say about this? You know what I mean? It's like, and again, leave it to your people. I'd rather have heard RFK make the statement, even if it was wrong, though, rather than a person who you're the president. I'm not a public health expert. Why do I feel the need to be the one to say something major like don't take Tylenol if you're pregnant? Why do I feel that? Why wouldn't I let my Center of Disease Control people say this? Why wouldn't I let my public safety officials say that?
He fired all of people that know anything about science, really. Listen, let me try and connect a couple dots for you, and you can investigate this on your own. But the people behind him, who was standing behind him there in that clip?
All of the usual suspects.
RFK, right?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody else there. I can't even really see it too well. But on the right, you see isn't that Dr. Oz? Dr. Oz is behind this guy here. Yeah. Dr. Oz, another TV personality, ran unsuccessfully for, what was it, governor or senator from the state of Pennsylvania last year or so. But apparently, and I heard this reported, Dr. Oz has a lucrative stake in a different business, iHerb or something, that actually does some of the same things that Tylenol does. So there's suspicion that this is part of the overall grift of this administration, where he's trying to basically move people from Tylenol to from Tylenol to this other drug that a company that Dr. Oz is involved in. He's supposedly on the board and holds over a 25% stake in the company. And there's speculation at this point that the president was just basically trying to push business towards Dr. Oz's company, which is in direct competition with the company that sells Tylenol. So, and with this administration, especially with all administrations,
why would we be surprised?
Follow the money. You always want to follow the money. And in this case, there are rumblings that this is a further expansion of the grift that we have seen take place under this administration. So we will see how that works out in the future. But that's, ladies, I consult your own physician, someone actually with a medical degree, rather than someone who finds great difficulty in even pronunciating the word acetaminophen. I'm not sure I would take medical.
Good for you. Good for you, because I sure couldn't pronounce that. Like acetaminophen, But again, I wouldn't get up there trying to give any advice on it either.
Ding, 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 ding. There it is. It's like, listen, if you struggle with a word, you don't get on national TV trying to say that word, not at least without practicing it. Come on now. Anyway, my brother Ken, welcome, brother. I appreciate you joining today.
Great to see you.
Yes, and we have seen the grift continue to go on. And,
100%.
Listen, follow the money. Follow the money. Now, as far as grifts are concerned, this might not be a good idea since I just shouted out my minister. But here we have a South African man, South African pastor, Joshua, I don't even know, Mahekla?
Yep.
I don't know how to pronounce it.
This is a big one.
He had prophesied. So we're all still here this week, right? You're pinch yourself.
No, we weren't left behind.
we were not left. Listen, if my mama's still here and there was a rapture, I know that wasn't really the rapture because I know it. So, but apparently this week there was a South African pastor who had prophesied that the rapture was going to happen this past week, Tuesday, in fact, Tuesday or Wednesday. Now, that should have been your first sign. When he's saying he's kind of hedging his bets, yeah, the rapture's coming. I say Tuesday or Wednesday next week, we going to be flying away and get caught up in the sky. Apparently that's not what happened because we're all still here. So, as my brother Deshone always says, how can you tell a prophet if the thing that they prophesy comes true? That's biblical, right? And
that's yep.
So
that's actually Moses,
anymore, right?
Yep. Well, that's all you judge it by,
right?
And it started out. He mentioned the 23rd. My wife, I had such a busy week, I didn't really even catch it. The fact that, she said, hey, apparently we're supposed to, the rapture's tomorrow.
You packed? You got your stuff ready?
Right.
You get ready to get up out of here.
You're right. Exactly. And so I caught a couple clips of him last night, the 25th. And, you're just watching because it went from the 23rd to, hey, into the 24th. And then it went, you see how many people around the world work. Then listen, be honest. If you're listening and you were waiting, let us know. If you didn't believe it right from the get-go, then let us know. The rapture can't happen before, Paul said that the man of sin has to be revealed first. And I made a video about this on my brother Deshone page. It's been seen a few 100,000 times. I pray that it gets seen more, and I pray other people can educate others on this. The man of sin comes first. So until the fake Messiah comes before the real Messiah, put it like that. So if you unfortunately have followed the Christian doctrine that you're going to escape all of what we're seeing unfold in front of us right now, and you're like, okay, it's getting bad, it's kind of getting heated up, this is where the pastor said we're going to get beamed up right before all of this happens and it gets real bad, you're going to be in trouble because it's not biblical. It's not biblical. There's going to be more things that happen. It's going to get even worse, but we are going to be, so again, in my mind, Curtis, that's all I'm thinking. There's no way the rapture is happening because the man of sin hasn't been revealed and unleashed on the world yet. So when you saw this, I mean, what kind of came to because again, I think we always give the ability for anyone to be wrong. So I'm like, okay, hey Lord, maybe I don't have the right understanding. Were you like, all right, well, let's see what happens here? Like, kind of how'd you approach this whole thing?
Well, the rapture is not a topic with which I am very familiar because it's not something that my indoctrination really teaches. And it's based on, from my understanding, is from the 1 Thessalonians 4, I believe it is. And they start talking about we were going to get caught up in the sky, when Jesus comes back. But I went back and I read that like yesterday. And the thing about it is that before they talk about and I'm by no means an expert on this, but before they talk about people getting caught up, they talk about the dead and Christ arising first. So to my mind, we should be seeing a lot of crypts and mausoleums and graves opening up and the dead in Christ being taken up first before those who are supposedly going to be raptured get caught up in the sky. So I thought that, don't let one of my favorite sayings is don't let the facts get in the way of a good story. And I don't know. I go to the Bible for my clarification on most religious topics and spiritual things. So that's not my reading of it. I mean, there are people that believe in the rapture. There are some that believe in the second coming, and there's some who don't believe at all, obviously. So, I'm just trying to be the best version of myself and live in accordance with what I believe God's will is for my life, so that whatever's going to happen, I get included in the number when the Savior comes back. So I don't know. Any thoughts about the rapture? Anybody else who has any greater insight into the rapture? I'm happy to hear about it. But fortunately or unfortunately, depending on your point of view, we are still here. At this point.
And it's like it reminds me of the African pastor, coincidentally, who said, if you die and you go to heaven and you don't see me there, you've gone to hell. Because you're not in heaven. It's like
is that the standard?
Right.
Is that no angels singing, no gold, no mansions, nothing, but just if the pastor's not there.
If you don't see me there, you're not in heaven. No, we're not. We didn't get left. And funny, if you put these scriptures together to the best of our ability with God's help and study, there's a scripture in Revelation where the saints are crying out, how long until you redeem, until you come handle like this, like we're being killed, similar to what Jesus said. They're going to deliver you up to council. You're going to be killed for my name's sake. And there's going to be persecution right before I come. Like, it's going to be tough times. If not for the elect's sake, those times would not be, those times would not be shortened except for the elect's sake. So this is going to get very, very bad, Jesus said, right before I come. And it's going to be people.
It's getting terrible out here now.
Well, just death. He said famine, pestilence, death. So, and then the blood of the saints are saying like, hey, how long until you redeem us? And he said, until your brothers that'll be killed like you are killed. So, again, I know as Christians or as followers of Christ or as followers of Abrahamic faith, you're looking in the scriptures and you're like, okay, I want to avoid all of the bad that's going to come. But the whole thing is, I really pray, Curtis, that the Father shields us and protects us. Psalms 91 style, like, 1,000 may fall by my side, 10,000 by my right hand, it shall not come near me. Like, I would pray that everybody concerning these subjects, and that's what I'm doing, is just like whatever happens, death, famine, pestilence, whatever may happen, hold those scriptures to protect you rather than thinking, okay, my pastor told me I'm going to get beamed up out of this. And then you're going to just be disappointed because that's just not, and not from my studies. I don't see that. So that's all I got.
Yeah. So maybe read the Bible for yourself. Don't just depend on what the person in the pulpit said. Test every spirit. As I
absolutely
somewhere in that same book.
And the pastor did come on and apologize. I did see his, he did come on. He did apologize as far as saying, I was wrong. What's
does
so
he have
crazy?
Any credence now moving forward? I mean, do you now look to this person, if you're one of his parishioners, do you now be like, I'm out the back door now, we gonna go find somewhere else to worship now because you're not it? I don't know. How do you how would you even deal with that?
And you know what's crazy, Curtis? He said God told him to do a live stream. So apparently God told him there was going to be a rapture, and he said live stream. So he has people just sitting on the live stream for hours waiting. Like, and it started so exciting. Hours pass, it goes into the net, and he ends it like, well, listen, y'all, it's gonna happen, let's look forward to tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow. And it was just like, see you tomorrow. Everything he said, and this is just a sad aspect of unfortunately people who follow religious cults or who follow false shepherds, because at the end of the day, if I followed you and maybe God was using you and you literally just did a national prophecy, global, and it didn't come to pass, it's not just see you tomorrow. No, bro, I won't see you at all. but I'm sure it's going to be people in church, and I'm sure there were people following him, and that's just the sad part. I mean,
yeah, I don't know.
People come into church and they, just like the people who said President Trump was going to win in 2020, all the white evangelical prophets. President Trump, I've already seen it. God has shown me. And literally they come into church Sunday morning after the false prophecy and people still there in the seats. So what's the message this week? Crazy.
All right. Yeah, now we're going to talk about next prophecy.
Right.
No, sir. We're not.
Right.
Anyway, moving on. So we are here from the rapture, but unfortunately, the next big thing on the horizon is another government shutdown. And that could take place on October 1st. Do you have any, can you fill us in on the latest government shutdown, my brother?
Absolutely. This is according to our friends at Black Information Network. It says the U.S. government faces a shutdown on October 1st if Congress fails to reach a funding deal. Air travel could be disrupted as air traffic controllers and TSA agents work without pay, while FAA inspections and certifications may be delayed. Social Security, SNAP, and VA benefits will continue, but related services like new enrollments, career counseling, and outreach could be suspended. Negotiations remain stalled, with President Trump canceling talks with Democratic leaders and Senate Democrats rejecting a House funding bill over deep Medicaid cuts. I mean, what are your thoughts on this, Curtis, initially? Like what?
Well, first of all, my thoughts are this. We just went through this whole thing with the whole big, beautiful, ugly bill, right? That just passed. Now, first of all, they passed the bill. So why are we even dealing with another government shutdown? The reason why is because they made the big, beautiful bill to not come into effect until after the midterms. First thing you might want to consider. Why would they do that? If they got together, they got this bill, they passed the bill, they pushed it through the Congress and through the Senate, and finally got a version of it passed, but yet they didn't make it active until after the midterms. That should give you some pause. That should give you something to think about. Why would they do that? So now we find ourselves where we either need to pass another year spending bill to stopgap us between now and when the big, beautiful bill would take place or take effect, or we have to pass another continuing resolution to continue to fund the government for, all the things that you just talked about, VA benefits and assistance plans and things like that. Fortunately, I was glad to see, and you covered this, like things like Social Security checks and those sort of things are covered under a mandatory spending portion of the bill. So those kind of payments will continue. But do you see any problem with who was it you saying? FAA people, air traffic controllers and TSA folks? Y'all got to work because you're essential personnel. But imagine how well those people are going to be doing their jobs when they're going to work and not getting paid. Clearly, they are going to be like, get on the plane with whatever you want. I don't care. I ain't get my check this week. Or, they might not be quite as
what would you do? You're taking one for the team for how long? I might take one day of not pay, or two. By the middle of the second day, I'm like, all right, hey.
I got the flu. I can't make it in today.
There you go.
I'm going to drive Uber instead because at least I got paid for doing it.
There we go.
I don't know.
And again, these are critical jobs. Right. We joke about it all the time from Chris Rock. It's certain jobs you can't have a bad day on. Absolutely. It's certain jobs we need people to show up. Yeah. We can't sit here and say, we were short safety check people this week, but we're still putting out the same number of planes. Like, do you want to fly this week knowing that the mechanics were short this week? The people who go through our safety protocols on planes were short this week. The people who do security for the planes were short. I mean, it's like a dangerous game. And what's so amazing is the rich sit here not affected by this. They're flying, private. Right. They're flying, and it's like we as Americans who deal with day-to-day things, they're like completely removed from the reality of the average American, and not even the average American, like 90 to 95% of Americans. It's like the policy,
just a regular person on the street, Absolutely. Yeah. So anyway, first of all, I do think, and I'm not one that normally.
Shout out to Brian Dow. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Don't forget that thought, Curtis, because we always like to shout out our new co-host checking in, and shout out to Brian Dow. We brought you up on the show, and again, we appreciate you.
I think the Bible's okay there, Brian.
This is really good. That's a real, very, very real statement. The word rapture is not in the Bible. Like,
absolutely, it's not even in there.
Nope. So, when you have an entire doctrine, philosophy preached and taught concerning a word that is not in the scriptures, that should, again, as Curtis said, read the Bible for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's praying and some critical thinking. Let's put two and two together. How is this entire term made up, an entire philosophy built around it? Where did it originate from? I think very, very, very valid things. So, yes, thank you, Brian, for tapping in.
So, rapture's made up just like race. I'll just leave that there. Anyway, we move on to.
That's
yeah,
that's a bar.
Let it sit.
Yeah, because what was the origination? Was the origination? How many people have said, "Yo, God's coming to get us today for control of people or to start a cult"? People drinking Kool-Aid. Hey, Jesus is coming to get us. We have no idea where these things originated from, but it's our job. If you are a follower of Christ, or if you call yourself a person of God, it's your job to seek truth for yourself. Absolutely. And not depend on what a man or a woman is trying to teach you. So that's it. Thanks for tapping in, Brian. We continue to look forward to
and a great point.
Absolutely.
So we talked about the we talked a little about the government shutdown, and listen, I'm not normally a proponent of shutting the government down, but I don't know. I believe that at this point that somebody's going to have to do something that's really that's going to be hard. I think the Democrats probably have to take a stand here and just not go along. Now, the latest thing is, of course, the president threatened. Boy, our president is a bully to the 10th level. I swear, he is just that dude. He's just like saying, "Well, y'all shut the government down. I'm going to have mass firings." How you doing? Get Black with me. Good to see you this week.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So the president is threatening mass firings now if the Democrats don't go along and push through another continuing resolution or a spending package that supports the government for another year. Do you think that they should fall on the sword at this point? And
I got to be honest with you, man. No, I got to be honest with you, man. I am so disappointed. The Charlie Kirk thing, most of the Democrats, except the majority of the people in the Congressional Black Caucus, I don't know, I think it was like 58 people or something like that. But almost everyone else voted for the Charlie Kirk holiday.
Including several Democrats.
That's the whole thing. So when I look at the people who are supposed to represent us, how long do we continue to put faith in people to do the right thing that are continually disappointing us? Again, and this is not, I don't want to paint with a broad stroke here, because we have some phenomenal people really putting up a fight, putting everything on the line, because this is how much this is it, So if you see that there's a threat to democracy and to the republic and to the country as a whole, to what, like America as a whole, then this is the time to put it all on the line. This is the time when 50 years from now, when they look back, your name's on the books of what you did to put up a fight, resistance, take a stand. And so to see so many Democrats folding I just don't know how much faith I can continue to put in them. It's like two teams, and one team's beating the heck out of the other team to the point where the other team just stops fighting. And just, so as much as I want to say, yes, I want to see more Democrats, more moderates, more independents, more moderate Republicans take a stand. I just think that's going to end in my disappointment. But if I could snap my fingers, of course there'd be a fight. Of course there'd be opposition and resistance. But get black with me. Good point. Seems like two sides of the same coin. And who's flipping that coin? That's what's really coming out lately, is who's flipping the coin. And I think what we're seeing now is we're seeing more people putting their eyes on who's flipping that coin, and the fact that United States is not run by the people who claim to be running the United States. And so I told my dad yesterday as we had breakfast, I said, your eyes should be on who you okay? Now listen, get black with me. Now you already know, get black with me. You already know this week in Black America here, we're always on the verge of having YouTube cut us, Facebook cut us. These are buzzwords that I think are in the airwaves, but this is a deeper conversation. My eyes on them. I think everyone's eyes are on them. We see the influence that a foreign government has in our country. And what I said yesterday, Curtis, think about this, and I'm interested in what our co-host and the audience think about this. If you had any other foreign government that had as much influence in any country as those people have in this country, it would be it'd be a huge threat to national security. Yeah. Much less if these people owned the banking, controlled the banking system, the media system, people, the industries, control the capital markets, control they're in every city. They have their own school. Think about if we had that many Iranians that had that much influence in the United States, how dangerous it would be. If we had that much anybody that is that controlled, that is that influential, that powerful in any country that's not theirs, would be a national security issue. Yeah. And I think when you look at Tucker Carlson, I'm not a fan. When you look at Candace Owens, I'm not a fan. When you look at Nick Fuentes, not a fan. Started out MAGA, and that Marjorie Taylor Greene, not a fan. Started out MAGA, but now being ostracized by MAGA. Why? Because there's two sides of MAGA now. There's this America First MAGA, and then there's this cult MAGA, whatever, such and such does. And I think we just cannot deny that what we're seeing right now is just a foreign, is just people who, again, I don't want to say too much because y'all already know what I'm saying. So I don't gotta
that, right? That y'all.
I'm really trying not to get us no strikes here, but it's very difficult.
Listen, you make some valid points, and I was right with you, my brother. And brother, our co-host Brian brings in a good point that we can actually expand to what you were just talking about. And he's talking about basically a house divided can't stand, and that's biblical, right? But what you just talked about is even in the MAGA, we see division. There are so many divisions that we're seeing in our country right now. And what we fail to see is the major decision. The major division is that, and this is what Get Black With Me is pointing at, corporations. The wealthy are the ones that are flipping the coin. And it's a two-headed coin. That's the part you don't see. It's a two-headed. They win every single time. It's always tails I win, heads I win, tails you lose. As far as they are concerned, they will always win because they succeed in keeping those of us without resources fighting against each other, thinking that each other is the problem instead of looking at the real problem, which is the fact that some ridiculous amount of people control all of the wealth. And by ridiculous, I mean ridiculously small amount of people control so much of the wealth in this country. And they got the majority of us fighting for crumbs while they are living the life of luxury. And we're looking at each other as the enemy when the real enemy is over there flipping a two-headed coin and watching us laughing while we're fighting each other about stuff that's stupid, like being race, which is made up. Somebody made this up to keep us apart, to keep us divided, and we don't have the intellectual capacity to figure out that the true enemy is the one that is keeping us separated instead of us coming together, solving our problems, and understanding that there is more that unites us than separates us, but we keep focusing on the stuff that separates us.
Preach.
And it's the ultimate banana in the tailpipe that we keep falling for over and over and over and over again.
Preach.
And what are you going to do about it?
Yep. So listen, I believe in the people. So I have faith in the people. And I believe that, that the people are gonna come together. The right people are going to come together, not all people, but my prayer is that, as we see what's happening, we realize that, okay, this is a sham. Y'all are trying to play us. And we're seeing so much evidence that the people have the power with these boycotts. Apparently somebody said something to me in the gym. We're not supposed to be buying anything on the 28th. Anybody know about this boycott supposed to be happening? Economic boycott. I was just in the gym earlier today, and these two guys came up to me and said, "Hey, you 28th, we're not supposed to be buying anything." So when it comes to it, I think proving, whether it's Jimmy Kimmel losing his spot and then people canceling those subscriptions and then him getting the spot back, or whether it's what we did with Target earlier in the year. I mean, evidence shows that the people still hold the power, and the deception is making us think we don't.
Right. And no, I haven't heard about this one though, so I don't know. These things will gain traction kind of quickly sometimes, but we've got to be more organized as far as just wanting boycotts. I'm not sure how effective that'll be, but
right.
As Target, if it works when it's focused correctly,
yep,
we see that it can be effective. So,
and Curtis, before we move on, don't you, I think we all see everyone being much more conscious about who they spend their money with.
Absolutely,
we're not as, we're not as we're what we saw Costco do, it mattered. What we see, Ben and Jerry's, we talked about last week with the founder of Ben and Jerry's resigning because of, the pressure that he can't stand up for the social issue. So again, I encourage all Black people to just keep doing what they're doing. I saw Luke, and this is Uncle Luke. This is don't stop, don't stay that doodle brown. I want to run. But hey, everyone can grow and everyone can mature and everyone can change. And he went on. I watched a video from him today speaking about how they showed up on the college campuses and was like he was using his platform to say, "Hey, listen, y'all see Black people, we are out the way. Please." He was talking to President Trump, stand like tell your people stand down, because I know you're trying to get us to come out. I know you're trying to get us to go to war. Now you're going. So you tried to get the adults to go to war. You try to get the adults to come out and march and protest. You try to attack some of our Black leaders, our Black mayors. All right. So now let's go after the kids. Let's go after the 20-year-olds. Let's go after the college students. Let's go on their campuses and see if we can get them to react. And shout out to Uncle Luke for actually just speaking up, using his platform and reminding Black people, stand down. Like, don't do. We know what y'all want us to do. Let's continue to do what we've been doing. And
it's like when we were kids. If you're trying to start a fight, we used to have all these kinds of ways. You here, put a little line in the ground. If you cross this line, we gonna fight. Or put a little stick on the shoulder. If he knocked that stick off your shoulder, he said something about your mama or something. We used to do all these kind of tricks to get a fight started because really nobody really wanted to fight. You kind of had to get it instigated because, hey, who doesn't want to see a fight when you're a kid, right? It's just why not? It's what we did. So it kind of feels like we're trying to get somebody to instigate us into a fight that we probably shouldn't be in. Yeah. All right, Brian. So you've had somebody knock a stick off your shoulder before, right? Listen, classic way to start a fight back in the day.
Yeah. It's like, touch me. Touch me. Everybody both touching. They both shoulder to shoulder for 2 minutes straight. You throw a punch. No, you throw. So we can feel it. Black America is not stupid. We feel it. We feel them trying to egg us on, and thank God, so far we're not taking the bait. So we pray that we continue to not take the bait.
Well, here's a person that we can move into that is certainly trying to inflame emotions of Jasmine Crockett, and that being Laura Loomer. Now, I must confess, I don't know a lot about Laura Loomer. She is some far-right activist. Mm-hmm. I hear her name getting called. She's run for public office a couple times, failed miserably. Can somebody help me out? Wasn't Laura Loomer the one that got caught on film doing fellatio to some dude in the movie theater? Am I thinking about the wrong Laura Loomer? Wasn't that her?
No.
I need to look that up because I'm pretty sure.
Listen, I typed Laura Loomer as soon as I got to MOV for movie theater comes up. So,
okay, yeah. So that was her. Go ahead.
Police said Laura Loomer was arrested Friday evening during the play presented in Central Park. Behind the scenes with Lauren. All right. Somebody in our co-host, please tell us, if this is the same Laura Loomer. I mean, listen, there's enough dirt on this woman where this doesn't need to be her. But again, Trump loves her. Apparently, she's big platform. I want to say Twitter's her big platform. I mean, not that I even want to give her any spotlight, but looking at so for those who are unaware, the far right activist. This is again from our friends at Black Information Network. Far right activist Laura Loomer used a racial slur against Representative Jasmine Crockett after the Texas Democrat criticized the House resolution honoring Charlie Kirk. Loomer posted on X calling Crockett a ghetto black bitch following Crockett's CNN remarks that most of the no votes, most of the people who voted no, came from lawmakers of color because of Kirk's rhetoric targeting them. The resolution passed with broad support despite Kirk's history of racist and anti-Semitic comments, including dismissing the Civil Rights Act and insulting black women. Crockett said it was unfortunate that more of her colleagues could not acknowledge the harm. So after that, Laura Loomer unleashes on Jasmine Crockett. It's a shame we have ghetto black in Congress. Like literally she was snapping, crashing out, as social media was saying all week. But then you're not gonna think. Follow me. Look, we do this. Look, we do this. One thing about black people, we do this. You're not gonna play the dozens. Whether you're going to snap, play the dozens, you're no match. Yeah. And so it didn't take long for people to unleash back on Laura Loomer with various things. The most notable, I think, was the fact that she resembles the Jigsaw character. Let me if any of you have watched Saw, the movie Saw. I mean, we can't deny. I'm gonna pull it up on the screen. I mean, Curtis, let's be for real here. It's some resemblance here. Hold on, give me 2 seconds.
I was gonna say, and we don't get into the whole, necessarily physical, but Laura Loomer seems to have very, what you might call, strong features.
That's the understatement of the show so far.
Very strong features that way. Yeah, I saw a picture of her, I guess. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
By the way, for everyone looking, this is normally how white women in their 50s look when they get Botox. Laura Loomer is 32 years old.
Oh my goodness! Don't say that.
Laura Loomer.
Lying. Somebody lying.
Hey, co-host.
Somebody lying.
Chat. Good to see you, King Chibo, checking in.
30 what?
Yep. 32. Qatar.
Somebody
yeah,
lying.
Good to see you. Good. Look, correct me if I'm wrong. 32, 33, maybe 31, because that's what Black America launched at. Hold on now. Now all of a sudden you see all our beautiful Black women coming and saying, wait, I'm 44. They got side by sides with Laura Loomer next to them. Like, wait, hold on. This is not white. This is again, you cannot come into this game not ready. And especially if you coming at one of our sisters and you thinking you're going to crack some jokes.
Listen.
Yeah.
You need to go with somebody. You need to, if you going after a Black, go to someone that's not as polished at it, because clearly Jasmine Crockett has shown herself to be about this life. That's
how she burst onto the scene.
Exactly.
Not to take anything away from what she's accomplished in her position, but hey, Marjorie Taylor Greene knows I'm not going to have a war of words with Jasmine Crockett anymore. No. So I mean, so what are your thoughts overall though on, if do you even have any extra thoughts on this whole thing, between her racist rants and,
I mean, listen, it's par for the course. I've lived in this country long enough to know that racism is just built in. It's baked in. It is what it is. I've been told to go back to Africa many times in my life. Never been there, but I guess they want me to go back. Anyway, racism's baked in, and it just goes back to what we were talking about a few minutes ago. Is the goal is to divide, and that's really what it is. And racism is just one of those things, because when people get to know you. And you, like myself, have plenty of people who are unmelanated who we associated as friends, that we consider friends, that we talk to, that we engage in true conversation. Dare I even say brotherhood with some of those folks who are unmelanated. And yet we have that group of people, yet we have so many who hold on to this false thing called race, when there really is just one race, human. I actually did that on my census. The last time the census came, they asked you to put down your race. I put other and wrote in human. I don't know. Maybe they didn't even count my census this last time. Folks, there is only one race.
To that point, though, Pool Vibe, a new co-host checking in. Good to see you, Pool Vibe. Says, well, this I don't know if you're saying doesn't look human, but she's not human, talking about Laura Loomer. So again, everybody can be redeemed, everybody can be, but when you're out here spewing just evil, hate rhetoric, that's gonna come back to you. And we've talked about this, Pool Vibe, on the show. I think the last month and a half has been really, we take a couple minutes to show, and I think we seriously consider if some of these people are human, and we move on after a while. But it's worth it's worth consideration now. Be it some people are heartless, they seem very cold, they seem very if you look too closely at them, it's like, anyway. So anyway, that's it. Let me move. Let's move
moving
on.
right along. Did you see out in Oklahoma, kind of related but not the same? There was a big sign out in Oklahoma, apparently, that had been put out there. A threatening sign appeared in Antlers, Oklahoma, near a discount store off Highway 3, which said, "Eye for an eye. Take the family out," and included photos of Democratic leaders and black public figures such as Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Whoopi Goldberg, Senator Chuck Schumer, and Simone Sanders. The sign also expressed deepest sympathies to the Kirk family, and the local resident out in Oklahoma, Christy Mack, removed the sign and said that she felt horrified and saddened by it and opposed the idea of vengeance with vengeance. And after the sign was taken down, the person who had posted it visited Mack's home and demanded restitution, asserting that
you can't make this up.
You can't. Demanded that asserted that they'd involved the police, and Mack ended up paying them $100 as restitution. And she said it was the best $100 that she ever spent. And the incident sparked outrage on the social medias and the local community, with people both disgusted by the sign and discussing its implications of hate, threats, and retaliation. Now, we both being students of the Bible to varying degrees, know that the idea of an eye for an eye is in the Bible. In fact, it's in that Old Testament part of the Bible. We know that the New Covenant calls us to a higher standard than that, because, you know, in the world, somebody said in an eye for an eye world, everybody walks around blind or something to that effect. But anyway, what are your thoughts on that before we go deeper on this?
It's a command of the master that you cannot retaliate, and I think the way, unfortunately, we've been taught about it's like a suggestion from Jesus that you not retaliate. That's just a suggestion. No, he said, if you judge, you will be judged. If you don't forgive, you won't be forgiven. Like, these are very cut and dry things that he's saying as the new high priest coming into, you know, a new order. So naturally you want to retaliate. And that's how he was breaking it down. He's like, you know, if you do good to those who do good to you, everyone does that, you know?
Everybody does that.
No,
that's
nothing.
The easy part.
That's the easy part, you know? He said, if you know, so again, as you mentioned, with us, you know, being followers of Christ, we can't subscribe to the eye for an eye. We just can't.
Right.
And so when you see, you know, the hypocrisy of American Christianity to do everything that Jesus said don't do, and to not do almost anything that Jesus said to do, it just is a cult on the highest level. It's religious doctrine on the highest level. This is why, again, the tone sprinkled from earlier with the rapture is the doctrine. People teaching how to interpret this stuff is going to always be dangerous, because it's being evidenced all around us. The situation happening in the United States right now is happening because people were taught for years that they could do this and still claim Jesus. They were actually taught that it was okay to live like the devil as long as you say, hey, I'm a Christian now. Hey, listen, you killed two people. Hey, listen now. Hey, I'm a Christian now. Listen, let's not talk of this is we don't have to have any works worthy of repentance. So, you know, when it comes to these subjects, moral subjects, eye for an eye, you know, of course, all I can go to, and I think, you know, you're in a similar vein, Curtis, is kind of an ideology, because there's no right or wrong there. It's just what you believe. And some other people may believe. I see plenty of black people that's like, hey, listen, it's time, y'all. Listen, all of this turn the other cheek is over, you know? And again, that's that man's belief, and that's what he subscribes to. But, you know, I just can't. I can't subscribe to that according to, you know, right. I got to listen to the master.
Listen, we'll believe all that other stuff, but when it starts getting hard, love your enemies. When they smack you, turn the other cheek. Those are the things that it's tough to stomach. And a lot of folks who claim to be followers of Christ will openly be like, "Yeah, that ain't me, though."
But hasn't it been hard? But hasn't it been hard, Curtis?
Well, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Black people have had access to guns. You ain't seen one black person, except the military guy and the guy who went into Times Square earlier this year. The military guy who went in and he locked himself in that you know, had a shootout. There's only two people in, like, I'm talking over 10 years that really come to mind of black people who said, you know what, I'm done. I got a gun. Mm-hmm. You know, this one's for the ancestors, or this one's for. Other than that, the restraint of black people really should be studied. Like, it should be, you know, any other race of people, or I don't even want to use the race, but any other group of people that had what was done to them, done to us, who are in the position we're in now, would absolutely be forget mass shootings. They'd be like, oh, another black person today launched and snapped. But again, we're just an incredible people. And I think that's what they're worried. Every day they're praying, I hope one of them doesn't snap today, because they know they deserve it. They know we'd be justified if we did. But anyway,
I still want to encourage people to go and look at Prime Video, White Savior, Racism in the American Church. I suggested that last week as something you might want to go and watch to kind of understand the way race plays out in the American, quote, church. Yeah, Jesus didn't die for just the American church, clearly. But anyway,
what's the name of that again? I gotta watch that this weekend.
Racism in America, in the American church, rather. Racism in the American church is the subtitle. So I listen, check it out. You can invest the hour. It's worth the watch. I suggest. Moving on, though. And you know, it's funny because you and I talk about the fact that our co-hosts have, I think, accurately dubbed what we're seeing in America as demon season. We keep we keep referring to what we're seeing as exactly that, and I really can't think of a more accurate moniker for what we're seeing right now. But now we've devolved even further. To what you have seen, what we've seen or read about throughout history with other dictators, others who would be authoritarians, you know, basically going after your political enemies, right? And our this president has been vocal basically about saying that he had no problem with going after his political enemies. It's not below him to do this. And now we've seen it played out in real time. Former FBI director James Comey, you know the name because he was integral in probably getting Trump elected the first time. As you may recall, him saying that he was opening an investigation into Hillary Clinton's emails. He did that like a week or two before the election that Trump was elected in 2016. So there's those who say he played an integral part in getting Trump elected, and now he ended up getting fired by Trump, of course, but now he's been charged and actually been indicted. You may further background, if you didn't recall this or you haven't been following it, there was the attorney general who was in place who ended up getting fired by Trump because he refused to file charges against political enemies of Trump. One being Letitia James, the attorney general for the state of New York.
Oh, sorry. Yep, attorney general.
She's the one that got the big judgment against Trump at that time. Now James Comey was another one that, and there are several others that he's named publicly as being opponents that he wants to go after. James Comey was the first domino to drop. So he was indicted on September 25th, just yesterday, right? Mm-hmm. Charged with making false statements to Congress and obstructing congressional proceedings over his 2020 Senate testimony. The allegation center on claims that he lied when he said he had not authorized leaks by the FBI, which prosecutors contend was false. The case is politically fraught. It comes after calls from former President Trump back then to prosecute him and others seen as political adversaries and raising concerns about the Justice Department's independence. Yeah, that's gone. There's no independence in the Justice Department at this point. And making that's false statements to Congress. It feels like a little like this is another little saying I used to have, the pot calling the kettle black. You know, it's like you got a known prevaricator in the president, and he's claiming now that James Comey, it's a liar. That's all it is. It's just a liar. I just got tired of using that word, so I had to come up with different words to describe what we're seeing.
Absolutely.
But now he's got a charge.
I would have just said liar. My vocabulary is limited in that regard. But I love that you we were taught context clues, so I knew what you meant, even though I never heard the word. So I'm like, okay.
Get up, and you'll see a picture of Trump right next to it as the illustration of what it is. Anyway, so listen, political persecutions are a real thing here in 2025 here in America.
Absolutely.
Who would have thunk it? When I was reading about all these things through history and school, I never could have imagined a time like such as this in America. Because, the ideal of America, with its flaws, obviously, with its flaws in the implementation of the idea, we always thought that the idea of America was a great one. Individual liberties and the one man, one vote and democracy and all the ideals that America was founded on. We're seeing them not even slowly anymore. We're seeing them being torn away. Every day we are seeing more and more of our freedom being torn away. And if you can't foresee a time when all of our freedoms are going to be gone or our democracy is going to be short, there's no longer being hyperbolic. There's no exaggeration here. If you can't see clearly right now a scenario where America ceases to exist, then you just don't have your eyes open, or you're just completely Pollyannish about America, because we are seeing the very foundations of this country being torn apart. They're being ripped apart. It's like I can see Samson with the pillars in between. And it's like right now you can see the pillars of our society, of our democracy being torn from us, under us. And is there any choice but for democracy to crumble around us, other than if the people wake up, unite around what unites us, put what divides us to the back, and focus on uniting this country again? There's a very real...
Wait a minute. I just made a mistake. Get Black with me. I went to put a comment on the stage. I put her in timeout.
Oh, no.
Wait a minute. We got to get Black with me back. Hold on.
Get back.
Get Black with me. Sorry. What? Now it just banned her. No way.
No way.
No way. Get Black with me if you can.
I don't know what you got to do. But we got to get her back.
Yeah. What the heck?
Comments were removed. We got to work on the technical aspects of this.
No. All right. Listen, we'll figure that out. That's our girl.
Yeah.
You will not, because I feel like I didn't even hit it. I feel like this was a plot from the get-go. They didn't want to get Black with me in here. They've been watching her for 6 months in here and just was waiting for the opportunity.
That's the version. Hey, that's the version of.
Yep.
the dial tone now.
All right, we'll revisit this. Geez, all right, we have to fix that. Can we defend ourselves by a sword? I mean, Cathar, yeah. Going back. Well, I got to get my head back because Lord, it shows how to get our girl back in here. But looking to this point about political persecution, using power to go after your political enemies. It's not even being hidden. And I don't think they care. I don't think they have intentions to hide it. I think the things that it looks like the things that are happening are happening in plain sight, and they're like, you can't stop us. Because again, I believe the powers and the puppet masters who pull these strings are the rich and it's a foreign government who this is what they want, and they don't care. It's a takeover. In my opinion, what we're witnessing is a takeover, and whatever the casualties are of a takeover, that's just par for the course. I think that's just cost of doing business for them. And so at some point, we're not going to be surprised anymore. I think we started, Curtis, 6 months ago, or even back in January, let's say, Inauguration Day.
Mm-hmm.
We started and we were watching to see, kind of how this was going to take place, or what was going to take place. And literally from the day that President Trump was inaugurated, where I believe, somewhere between 50 and 70 executive orders, proclamations, and, memorandums were signed like right then and there, you knew that this was going to happen faster than maybe anyone could have thought, because they were ready. So, I started this question from Pool Vibe, and it kind of falls into what Cathar Yah's talking about with how can Christians that teach love and claim Yeshua, but then turn around and be racist. It's almost like two types, the lighter hue caucus version and the copper hue version. There's copper people who are this is the final judgment before Christ comes. I love that, Curtis, you've been hitting on the fact over the whole course of this show. This is no longer about race. This is about what is that? You hear that beeping? All right, listen, Lord. There's some strange things happening, but we're going to praise the Lord. Listen, we're going to praise the Lord because, look, at the end of the day, we know what we signed up for. Me and Curtis been on this path for about a year now. So when things start, we know who holds the power. But it's not our job to retaliate. It's our job to have faith that we have a defender. And it used to be for a group of people, the Israelites and the strangers that were with them. Let's be clear. When they came out of Egypt, strangers came with them, and those who honored how it was run, they got the same benefits. Mm-hmm. And that's why, Moses was told, in the Old Testament says, don't oppress the stranger, because remember, you were strangers in Egypt. That's right. So again, going back to what we're seeing in America, with them doing all the things the Bible says don't do, oppressing the strangers, okay. And then Jesus comes on the scene, or Yeshua, however you refer to him, and he's teaching total love, because y'all all need it. Y'all all need it. Y'all all need grace. And God has been good to y'all regardless of how bad or whatever you've been. You should be like your father, and you should love people regardless. And so when you don't see that, Pool Vibe, in my opinion, it's just people who are not, who when Jesus said, a lot of people are going to say, didn't I do this in your name? And he's going to say, depart from me, I didn't know you. That's a real like, oh, wait a minute. I've been saying Jesus all my life. I've been saying Yeshua all my life. What do you mean you don't know me? You didn't do. And he said in one verse, why do you call me Lord? You don't do what I say. Yeah. Why do you call me Lord and you don't do what I say? So this is just like God knows the heart. And I think that's all we can look at in these days, because those who are claiming, we got more people than ever claiming God, claiming, yo, I'm a man of God, I'm a woman of God, I'm a prophet, I'm a Christian. But when you look at the fruit, it's like, wait a minute, this doesn't look or feel like I would expect. So I think we're past the days of getting hung up on people, what people say. We just watch what they do.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think, Curtis?
I think you are absolutely right. The fruit that they bear will tell on folks, you know, and the fact that all types of atrocities have been perpetrated under the guise of Christianity. You know, we have all types of wars have been started, all types of atrocities have taken place, claiming Jesus or claiming the Lord. You know, the KKK was founded under Christian values. Okay. So let's not get it twisted that people have been usurping the name of the Lord and doing all types of evil, really, in his name for years. So it's not hard to recognize that, yeah, one day somebody's going to say, Lord, Lord, we was killing all the darkies on your behalf. And he's like, I never asked you to do that. It's like, I never sanctioned that. That was on you. That was your evil in your heart. The Bible talks about the mind. Our mind devises these schemes. That's where sin comes from. It's something that begins in our head, and then we work it into a scheme, and then it's full blown sin. And I know if my ministers still listen, I am doing a terrible job of paraphrasing these scriptures, but I think put it in your chat GPT. It'll tell you what scripture it is I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So anyway,
no, I think you're doing great. And further, Curtis, as we wrap on that, if we see people claiming to use God and they turn out to be evil or do evil practices, then that's even further instruction for us to make sure we're not doing that. So again, what does that look like? Retaliating, going out, taking vengeance into your hands. But I'm a Christian. Going out and let me go out here and retaliate. Let me go out here and go to war with some people. Let me go out here and do this. Oh, but I'm a follower of Christ. Right. So now you're no better than those we're talking about right now.
So I wish somebody would smack me.
Right.
They just can't wait to smack me back. You know?
Right. Just got out of church.
Listen.
Just got out. Listen, hey.
You know what? They might not wait to get out. They might do it inside.
That's right. And my former pastor, shout out to him. We all none of us are perfect. We all praying, but he had a saying. He used to be like, because we was from Newark. Our church was in Newark, and he used to be like, hey, look, people think they're gonna run up in here. Look, we're gonna plead the blood, and then we're gonna draw some blood. But listen, we pray for each other. Because again, we have to, with the help of the Holy Spirit, restrain ourselves.
We gotta do better.
We can't do the natural thing. All right,
get out of your natural self.
Let's go. Let's move on.
Anyway, this week we also heard about some really great examples of philanthropy. We talked last week about the man who was found hanging in Mississippi, and authorities are still claiming that that was Trey Reed, 21-year-old from Delta State University. We talked about that last week. And he was found hanging near campus, near the pickleball court. And, the initial autopsy basically ruled the death as a suicide. Now, we talked a little about this before. A black man hanging himself in America, I mean, you got to look at it with a side eye, right? Just because of the history of lynching in this country. The history of blacks and being hung in America. So the fact that any person, even a young person, should give you pause. Like, would a black young man in Mississippi, no less, hang themselves? And so anyway, the the point of why I brought this up is that, those second autopsies and things like that, they cost money. And a name that we should all be familiar with, Colin Kaepernick, the former football quarterback for the 49ers, who basically got blackballed from the league for refusing to stand during the national anthem. Y'all all remember that controversy about, 7-8 years ago now. And Kaepernick never did get back into the league despite him being a very talented quarterback. Well, he's become an activist. He's essentially turned his taking a knee and the whole hubbub around that and turned himself into an activist. He's been a filmmaker and things like that. But he paid for an independent autopsy for Trey Reed and their family to try and really get to the bottom of exactly what happened here. Any thoughts on that front?
Just wonderful. Black people, if you're in position of power, influence, or if you're in a position of where, you're wealthy, you're financially independent, using those resources to help a family that desperately needs help getting information about their child or their brother or their son or, is just wonderful. Shout out to Colin Kaepernick. Big deal.
And then,
big deal.
I like that. If you use your platform for good, that's always a great sign. So I applaud Colin for that. And I want to juxtapose that against another number 10 here. I want to jump down to that because it just seems a natural place here. We also heard about philanthropist Mackenzie Scott. Now, I must confess, the name initially when I saw it didn't ring with me. Mackenzie Scott announced a $70 million donation to the UNCF. That's the United Negro College Fund. A mind is a terrible thing to waste if you're old enough to remember those.
Right.
That's
right.
So Mackenzie Scott gave a $70 million to one of Scott's largest single gifts, and it was an early public donation in 2025. The funds will go to the UNCF pooled endowment, structured to yield about 4% annually, with $10 million allocated to each of the three HBCU members. What are the three? Oh, I guess I should have put that in here. Anyway, so Mackenzie Scott, if you may not know the name, she was married to, who was it?
Jeff Bezos. Mm-hmm.
All right. So she got her money. She got her money the old-fashioned way. She got married and divorced and got half his money, I guess. But anyway, listen, listen, to her credit, she ain't just going out buying Burka bags.
Wait, Get Black With Me's back. Wait a minute. Wait, I'm sorry. We got to cut. Get Black With Me. You have no idea. I'm sitting here on YouTube studio right now. I'm trying to have as Curtis is doing the show. I'm sitting here like, yo, wait a minute. We lost Get Black With Me. It says she was banned. But it said we hit a button that banned her, and I'm like, whoa, we got to do this. And here we go. How did she said I troll a lot of pages? Is this a second page or is this the same page? Because I'm like, what the heck? Look, I've never been so. I'm always happy to see you, but I've never been so happy to see you.
We thought we got our first casualty here. Get Black With Me. Listen.
Start picking them off. Look, they've been watching us, and it's like, hey, let's start picking them off this week. Start with that Get Black With Me. She's always
one by one. Anyway, good to see you back. Get Black With Me.
Sorry, Curtis. I didn't mean to cut you, bro.
No, that's worth the interruption. And let me give her another. Get Black With Me. Welcome back.
Absolutely.
Anyway, we were talking about Mackenzie Scott. I don't know how much more we need to spend on this, but she got the money.
Yeah.
And she's I don't know. I think she's just giving it giving it to people that I think will make her ex cringe. You know, it's like I'm gonna give all of your money to these black folk that I know you can't stand, but I'm giving it to them anyway. So I love it. I love it. listen.
I think when the divorce happened, I think Jeff Bezos at that time was worth I think he was the richest. So I think she ended up getting like 120 million or something nuts. How much did Mackenzie Scott get? Divorce settlement. It was a ridiculous amount. It's the only reason why Jeff Bezos wasn't the richest person in the world.
He gave half of it away.
Because he gave half of it away. He had to.
Think about that though. If you give half your money away and you still in the conversation as one of the richest person in the world, you probably have too much money. I'm just going to put it out there. I'm sorry. If you give half your money away and you are still, by and large, far and away, one of the richest persons in the world, after giving half your money away, that should give you a problem. That should be a problem. And listen, I'm not a hater.
Not pocket watching. And look, nobody would be saying this if Jeff Bezos was feeding millions of people and making sure people weren't homeless. If he took $100 million, if he took $1 billion a year, and he's literally, man, you know what Jeff Bezos does, man? You come into this city, man. This is Bezos City. Everybody can eat there. If you're homeless, you just move to this city. Whatever. If we were hearing that, it would be like, no, man, keep it up, man. Make more money so you can keep doing more good. But when we see the hoarding, now Anthony McDowell, shout out to new co-host Anthony McDowell checking in. He said it's a tax write-off. That's the only reason she's doing. But let me ask you, Anthony, there's more ways to get tax write-offs than giving it to black colleges.
That's true. That is true.
There's other ways. So, I mean, you got to have a heart somewhere to be able to give, this amount of money to HBCUs. And, because again, you can pick. Bill and Melinda Gates chose to say, well, we give all our money to science.
Well, never underestimate the power of the petty, which I was talking about earlier. And that's why, if Mackenzie Scott is giving her money away to black causes, she may not necessarily be an advocate for those causes, but she knows that it's going to bother Jeff Bezos that his money went to these black folks. So never underestimate the power of the petty. I'm just going to put it out there. The power of the petty is strong in that woman. And I love it. I, for one. And I'm with it because, I tend to roll on the petty side sometimes. Anyway.
We all. Shout out to Mackenzie Scott. Keep up the good work.
Speaking of, anyway. So your president was at it again. There was another press conference this last week. During a press conference on September 19th, President Trump was asked by black journalist Ebony McMorris, who is the American Urban Radio Network, about his plans to deploy the National Guard to Memphis to address crime. And Trump interrupted her question, telling her to be quiet and labeling her really obnoxious. So McMorris pushed back, saying that she was not obnoxious, but trying to ask about the plans. And Trump repeated the insult and then refused to answer until he called on her, but he never did. So this is a similar pattern that we've seen in the past. Him criticizing reporters, calling them questions stupid and this sort of thing, telling them that they work for second-rate news organizations, et cetera, et cetera. A lot of people responded, of course. The Washington Association of Black Journalists condemned the remark, defending McMorris and saying that asking tough questions doesn't make a journalist obnoxious. It does to this president.
And we have a little of the footage for some of you who didn't see it. Let's just check it out.
Mr. President, when are you going to get
We're going to be going into New York too.
Mr. President,
and we're going to be going in quiet. You're really obnoxious.
Now, all of the way. See, I think what we get underestimated for, I'm talking black people sometimes, our emotional intelligence. Right. We are very aware of tonality, snarky, we can see the deeper layer of what you say.
Right.
And that's why sometimes people will be like, well, I didn't mean it like that. No, we know what you meant. You know what I mean? Like, oh, no, you no, because we know what you meant. So when you look at how he just said quiet,
very dismissive,
very and Curtis, who talks to? I mean, would any of our co-hosts say quiet to someone in that way, or would you ever let someone say quiet in that way to you?
Listen, I give the woman a lot of credit because, listen, you deal with black women, you don't talk to a black woman like that, and then it just go over well. It's normally not. It's not as nice because this is in a professional environment.
Yep.
He got that off.
And shout out to her.
She still got her job to do.
That's right.
She's not gonna lose her job behind this guy. She's trying to be professional.
Extreme professionalism.
Yeah.
And honestly, she's like, I want the answer to this question.
Right.
So shout out to her for remaining professional and keeping the main thing the main thing. You can tell me to be quiet. We can talk about that another time. But right now, can you answer this question? And let's just let this play out after, kind of how she responded.
Mr. President, when are you going to give
We're going to be going into New York, too.
Mr. President.
And we're going to be going in quiet. You're really obnoxious.
I'm not obnoxious, but I'm trying to ask you, what about your plans for
really
Memphis?
Obnoxious.
I'm not obnoxious, but I am asking, what are your plans for Memphis? Many people want
I'm not going to talk to you until I call on you.
What are your plans for Memphis?
Who else? Yeah, go ahead.
Mr. President.
There you go. So again, she did her best, I think, especially considering the internet watching that and seeing him dodging the question. And him, again, I don't see her and the way she just approached that question any different than I've seen hundreds and hundreds of White House reporters who are trying to yell their question in, get their question in, and especially with it being such a concern again. And I think the fact that President Trump didn't like the question, he didn't want to answer it because, again, you cannot tell me that there isn't a large group of Americans, Black Americans especially, in the cities like New York, Memphis, Chicago, where we are basically on the we're at the mercy of him saying, hey, I'm coming, I'm sending people there. Well, hey, can we talk about that? What are your plans for that? And again, because he doesn't like the question, he dismisses her. But I think she did a wonderful job. I mean, what do you got? Anything else you want to add on this?
No, I just had a flashback with Get Black Whitney's last comment to remember when Kanye West got up on some award show. He got up there's a George Bush don't like black people.
Oh, that was the Hurricane Katrina telethon.
Was that what it was? It was after. No, it was around that time. But the George Bush don't like black people, and I think we're seeing that it's also true for Donald J. Trump as well. He don't really care for black folk too tough. But anyway,
unless you're gonna fold, because every now and then you'll see him kind of celebrate a black person, but it's again, it's the go along to get along gang. So if you're gonna shuck and jive and look, Master, hey, how you want me to dance with the left foot? I got the good foot too. All day long. See, look at my African American. Look at my African American. So those types of people all day long. But when you have a free thinking, critical thinking, professional, intelligent, challenging black person, oh no, he lets it be known in more ways than one that he does not like that.
Yeah. He doesn't like to be intellectually challenged because I think he might fall short in that area. But that's just me. That's my opinion. That's what I think. Anyway,
Brian Dial said I couldn't be a reporter because I would constantly ask about the Epstein files.
This just in. We're still waiting for the Epstein files.
Right. And that's interesting, Curtis, considering what we've seen as we pull up the next topic, the power that's being wielded between, the FCC, all of these federal, with the government reaching into business and the corporations to see that no media is really challenging him. Independent media, shout out to independent media that still is able to exist in America all day long. But the people who end up in the White House, the people who can actually get in the room with him, they follow a set of, like, if you ask this, don't ask this, basically. I don't know how they're telling them, but it can't be a coincidence, which is why I'm wondering, how did this woman get in? Maybe, or maybe she didn't ask a question that was off limits. I don't know. It's just too weird for me to even try to figure out. I mean,
yes, you can't figure out. This is demon season. This is not normal times. This is not what it has always been or had always been. This is different. So if you think this is the same, if you think this is just a normal administration, you're not paying attention.
Mm-hmm. Right? He'd be really mad if you ask him about the deals. Get Black with me in the deal. We have yet to see deals. We hear about deals being made all day long, but we have yet to see deals being made. How about
all
deals that are going to
made enrich him personally?
How about deals that are going to enrich the American public? How about deals that are going to bring down grocery prices, put more money in our pocket?
Do that day one. That was supposed to be day one.
That's right. We hear about all of this, all of these investments into America. Oh, there's trillions. We got $3 trillion being invested in America. Wait a minute. When do we have that kind of money being invested and it doesn't lead to jobs? When have you ever heard, guys? And again, our co-host, you guys in our studio audience, you are brighter than, we have a certain caliber of thinkers here. When have you ever heard of a massive investment into a country that doesn't lead to hundreds of thousands or millions of jobs?
Yeah. Well,
ain't no investment.
I don't know if people were following this. The Hyundai situation down in Georgia over the last 2-3 weeks has been developing. So, they were building a plant. They had a Hyundai plant in Georgia. And they had these Korean people who came over here basically to teach the Americans how to run the operation. And then the brilliance that is this administration sent ICE in, arrested, what is it, like 400 or something? It was a ridiculous amount of people that got arrested, Korean nationals who are here helping Americans to do an American job. And they were going to build this plant in Georgia. And because of the way these people were treated, they're like, nah, we ain't doing it. Those people went on back home. They happy to go back home. They already know how to build Hyundais over there. This was for us. And this administration squandered a great deal because of its ineptitude and its allegiance to this really wanton policy about shipping back these are people who came here to help us. They're here for a reason. And we send them home. We go in and show power, quote unquote, and arrest these folks and realize they have something that we can't duplicate. They have something that we don't have here. They have knowledge that we don't possess. And
absolutely. And investing, like this used to be a good thing. This used to be a good thing. And, to Brian and Get Black with me's point, I think you both are making great comments concerning, the wool that is over the American people's eyes or attempting to be pulled over our eyes. Just the question, Brian says, question for the panel. Have y'all ever heard a president use the terminology of deal?
I know.
That's
right?
a good point.
That is a great point.
No, you don't. Curtis, when
he
did
wrote
you
the
ever?
Art of the Deal. That's what this president. That's what he marks. That's what got him where he is. That and the fact that he got a network TV show where he's in people's houses all the time. He's known as being able to make a deal, even though it's a lie. I live in New Jersey. I've seen his deals.
Right.
I've been to Atlantic City. I've seen the way his deals turn out, and it's not good.
Right.
But anyway.
No, I mean, typically, that's very real. The terminology is different, and you would think that I think that's probably what got some people excited, because you heard a guy talking like, oh, I'm going to run the country like a business,
right?
Even though you can't run the country like a business because it's not a business. But also, it kind of got people thinking, well, prosperity's coming. Let's make deals. Let's bring these corporations.
It's coming, all right, but only to Trump.
That's the whole thing. So, and you look at, going back to, I'm tying in Get Black With Me's comment too, of he's getting rid of the immigrants so Americans can work the farms. I think there is an overall slavery plan that is the bigger goal, because if you are making billions upon billions of dollars, one thing you're okay with, especially when the tax code benefits you, is taking short-term losses that you can write off. As what we were just talking about with tax run, you can write off short-term losses. So Amazon for many years, it looked as if Amazon was losing money. They weren't. They were investing that money and but you can write it off. So Jeff Bezos personally is my point. This is my point. Through all of those years, Jeff Bezos wasn't personally feeling it. Amazon lost 100 million this year. Amazon lost, you're showing a net loss of, 80 million. What's going on? Well, his lifestyle doesn't change. I'm still super rich. But in the reporting to the Americans or the stakeholders, yes, the company reported a loss in the short term. Now look at us.
Yeah,
we're the most powerful company.
Salary, though.
That's the whole thing. So the short term is what I'm willing to lose to gain the long term. Yeah. And if they've gotten together at the top concerning all of these billionaires and tech guys, again, it's not in the story, but I love for us to discuss it, before we wrap up. We got about 15 more minutes and we'll wrap up. We still got a good amount, but I want to talk about the TikTok being bought. Yeah. Now you have Oracle, Larry Ellison, who is now the 4th richest person in the world, who is 1/3 or 1/4 of the AI infrastructure. Now he owns TikTok. He's one of the majority owners. But if the plan is slavery for Americans, then that means everything we're seeing now, where it's like, wait, they're losing money in the short term, is okay for them, because when we unroll what our big plan is 2-3 years from now, y'all are not going to be in a position to do anything about it. And I just got to think, I think we got to consider that, because if you're not putting prosperity in our pockets, if you're not bringing the jobs you said you were going to bring, we don't see them. The labor reports come out every month. The job reports are abysmal. We're like the economic growth. That's why you don't like Jerome Powell. And of course, I'm ranting now, but it makes sense if you listen. Like, that's why you don't like Jerome Powell, because Jerome Powell is reporting to the people that what you're saying to them, he doesn't see as chairman of the Fed. I don't see. Look, I know you're saying there's no inflation. I know you're saying the company's growing and prosperity is here. We see labor job reports of the most vulnerable, which are the youth. He said we don't see job. We see loss of jobs there. This is concerning. So this again, I think a very bad plan is coming, and it's connected to what Get Black With Me and Emmett Till. It's just slavery for the American people soon. Like, we're not here when we don't need y'all making money. And then you tie in Elon Musk, who said, oh, we're going to have a universal high income. I think we should have a universal high income when AI hits, and we just turn everybody into our slave. All right, that's it.
Just news brief here.
Y'all know when I wear my Exit the U.S. hat, y'all know I'm going to be in a certain vein. Go ahead, Curtis.
Just newsflash that slavery actually never went away in this country. It just got moved to the prison industrial complex. But that's a whole nother subject. We don't need to talk about that right now. Just thought I'd bring in that little bit of information for our audience. And moving on, real quick though, wanted to go into we know the name Emmett Till. That name rings throughout history as a rallying point for the civil rights movement. But he has a cousin who is from Mississippi, Priscilla Williams Till, who's a cousin of Emmett Till. She's the founder of the Emmett Till Justice for Families Foundation, and she's running for Congress. So she's running for the U.S. Senate as a Democrat, challenging the incumbent Cindy Hyde-Smith in the 2026 midterm. So really not much to say there. Obviously, she's running on a civil rights and social justice campaign platform, reproductive rights, expanding healthcare access, things like that, reform of the justice system, or the injustice system, as I like to call it. So yeah, she's running for Congress. Any thoughts about Miss Till running for the office after her cousin was such an influential figure in the civil rights movement?
Well, we need more people, Again, I'm not gonna go deep on it. Again, I like to believe that in America you can make a difference. You can go and you can get into civics and local politics and government, and you can get in there and you can affect change. I just think that time's over. Yeah. I don't want to sound too, some of you who've been, you've tapped in, and this might be your first show. Shout out to the people who are here. Welcome. It's not that I'm a pessimist. When I look at the prophecies and what the Bible says, I believe America's done. I believe it is on. It's crashing. It's going to continue to crash. And so getting into politics and saying, okay, let me get in here, roll up my sleeves, make a difference. You'd have to. I heard somebody say this yesterday, and it made great sense to me. The fiber of American systems, from the fiber of the American capital systems, the capitalist markets, it's tied into every fiber of our nation. It's tied into our government. Money's being cut from the local level up to the federal level. Up here, right here in the city I grew up in, East Orange, I know them. I don't want to say anything. All right. There's money being. Yo, what are you trying to do today, Deshone? You're trying to get yourself. But here's the thing: there's a group of people. Envelopes are passed, and if it's happening on the local level, it happens. And the people who pass the envelopes, coincidentally, are the same people passing the envelopes on the federal level. We see them in our communities. We see them. Yeah. God. We see them, and then so we think, oh well, these are just local people with all of this influence, and they're always in the courts, and they're always buying the real estate, and they're always. But then you go to the state level, and it's like, hey, make sure you see my guy when you get there. So again, I just don't believe in American politics. I believe, again, shout out to the people who are really in it for the right reasons, really will fall on the sword, and like, I'm gonna die here saying, like, when it's written about me, it'll at least be, Jasmine Crockett. I spoke up. I used every platform I had. I tried to say the truth. I was not liked by either side, whatever it may be. I think that's the only way you can actually exist. But to think I'm going to come in, change, especially when we see Chicago, New York, the cities we just played a video of him saying, yo, I'm coming to New York, and I'm coming. Oh, they want me in Chicago. The women, you know who called me? The women, they call me and say, please, President Trump, come to Chicago. So all of these narratives meanwhile, one woman called. It was one woman who, don't even, wrote a letter, and nobody even talks to her in the community. President Trump, you need to. So these are just the things that, I don't have faith in the American system anymore. And again, I don't want to sound pessimistic, but I mean, what do you think? You think, big name, she's attached to history. I mean, you think she can come in here and she can roll up her sleeves, make a difference for us?
No, I honestly, I don't. And not just because it's her. I think that the system is broken. I think the system is broken, unfortunately, and I don't know that it can be repaired. Honestly, one person, she may make a positive impact for the people in her community, perhaps. But I think the system is broken. I'm not even getting into necessarily the religious aspects and things like that. From a practical standpoint, I think the system is broken. And until we have the ability to recognize that and to really combine our intellectual prowess together and fix the problem and actually, work together to actually rebuild or build upon the foundation that was America, but doing it the correct way this time, until that happens, I think we are on a downward trajectory, and I'm not sure that can be recovered. I really don't. And, you know, we as Americans have this this arrogance really about ourselves that we're America the Great. And because we fail to put America in its proper historical context. And, you know, there are plenty of empires greater than America through history that are no longer here because of what we're seeing here now, or the types of things that we're seeing going on in America right now. So, you know, people, we tend to think because we're Americans, we're better. Our water's colder than everybody else's. You know, we're better than everybody else because we're America. And again, America's founded on some great ideals, but we've never carried through on them completely. And that makes for a shaky foundation. And anything built on a shaky foundation, it's likely to topple over time. And I think we might be in that time, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So
Get Black with Me makes a great point. They stole the land from the indigenous people. It was rotten from the start.
From the core.
It's a great point. I mean, how you start. Yeah. I mean, literally, you start on a bad foundation and you don't make and let's not add to the fact, let's bring a couple million slaves, you know, like
steal the land and then you steal people to work the land that you stole. This is all built on a shoddy foundation.
Right.
It's all built on a shoddy foundation.
And to the patience of God or life gives you the opportunity to repent. So you had plenty of time. You've had 250 years to actually fix it. You know, like it's not like you just fell from the start, like you did something totally wicked, shed a lot of blood, and all right, this is not going to work because that's the way. Like you've had so much time to go back and right your wrongs. Like literally go back, right your wrongs, and like build what could have been the greatest country empire ever. And you just didn't do it. And again, we talked about this last year on the show of Hello Black America, where it's just like you can't continue to kick that can down the road. After a while, you run out of time. Yeah. You know, the cracks in the foundation turn to splits, and then your foundation splits, and then your house falls. So.
Listen, I appreciate Brian Dial bringing some heat today and talked about you can't fix this burning house. We talked about that on Hello Black America.
Great episode. And I think one of our favorite episodes is if on the Hello Black America channel, the house is burning. Please check it out if you have some time today or this weekend.
But Brian, I appreciate you bringing in some heat to the conversation. And listen, that point that he just made, 250 years is the average reign of an empire.
Wow.
We are dangerously close. And there you go. Hey, welcome, Bruce M2. Welcome to the conversation. We appreciate you.
Absolutely.
And we're winding it down a little bit here, but just want to
We'll go a little past 2 p.m. If you know us, you know we try. You know, we got to do it better. But it's the conversation. You know, if we didn't have great co-hosts, it's your fault we can't get through these topics. That's what it is.
That's what it is.
Oh, baby. Look, if it's the conversation, you know, guys, we don't like to talk at you. We really have dialogue here. I think that's what makes the show special. That's what we really appreciate from our co-hosts is the dialogue. So sometimes we'll come in and we got 15 things to discuss, and we plan to get through them from between 12 and 2 p.m. Eastern time. But, you know, if you guys are going off in the chat and it's leading to some great discussion, you're going to, you know, I don't need much to get me flying off, and neither does Curtis. So if y'all start flying off in the chat, we might go to 2:30. But
hey, listen, you never know. We might be in a 3-hour show before you know. Who knows? But anyway,
Friday,
we're gonna try
Brian,
and finish up in the next few.
We're live Fridays at 12 p.m. Eastern time, and like I said, we try to wrap about 2. So we just got a couple more things to discuss. Go ahead, Curtis. What's next?
I just was saddened to see this story because because I love my people, but there's a special needs woman, a black woman, 26 years old. Aaliyah, I guess is the way to pronounce it, Bryant.
Yeah.
She was jailed about 50 days after being arrested for allegedly stealing $49 worth of items from a Target. Now, first of all, she shouldn't have been in Target, but that's we're gonna let that go for now. She shouldn't have been in Target, but she was in Target, stole $49 worth of stuff, apparently. She accepted a no contest plea. And, that a no contest plea allows the defendant to avoid a trial, but admits guilt. And she was ordered to pay $339 in restitution. Now, I don't know how that math works, but if she stole $49 worth of stuff, I'm not sure how she got to pay back $339 in restitution, but we'll leave that there for now. Also, $500 in bond cost, and she was banned to returning from Target. Okay, that's fine. The banning from Target. But in her court hearing, she was they put her in jail for this, and I guess she's still waiting to be able to pay these costs to be able to get out. It was just a sad story. There was a public outcry over her incarceration, led to a creation of a GoFundMe to help her, so maybe she already has the money. I guess I could go check on the GoFundMe. But I just was saddened to see. Hopefully, our people will come to respond to this as they become aware of the fact that a special needs woman arrested and still in jailed for basically what should have been a petty crime.
Right at the time. At the time we're talking now, Curtis, I just checked the GoFundMe. It's $5,651 raised for her. So, yeah, at least
she have enough money to get out of jail now. At least,
yeah,
if nothing else.
But as I showed the video as Curtis was talking, and you can just see, right,
you can see that she's special needs.
So this is again, this is demon season stuff right here. So like when you. Again, it's the treatment of the most needy among us is the disturbing and frightening part. The lack of mercy for those who are the most helpless, the most vulnerable among us is really it should really show you where we are as a nation here. And again, if you are a believer in God, you have to ask yourself, how long do you think a nation can do this before God himself responds and says, all right, I need to get rid of you, just like he did Sodom and Gomorrah. Do you think
that this special needs person qualifies as the least of these?
I think so. I mean, just look, this is hard to watch. You know what I mean? This is hard to watch. So this is who, and think about everyone in the courtroom. Think about the judge. Like everybody is just like, okay with this. No, just says something about, like I said, where America is right now. Very, very dark place.
Yeah. Well,
Black America. That's a double entendre, by the way, just so y'all know. This is Black America here, right? So, all right. Yeah.
So I just want to have a brief conversation about this because, this really goes to what are our lives worth, right? Maurice Hastings, a man from California, who spent 38 years in prison. 38 years in prison for a sexual assault and a murder that he did not commit. And so he recently was awarded $25 million, the largest wrongful conviction settlement in the state's history. And his conviction was vacated after DNA testing showed the biological evidence did not match him, but instead matched another convicted felon, Kenneth Packnett, who was never investigated in the original crime. So the court later declared Hastings factually innocent, affirming the evidence now conclusively showed he was not responsible. And he has since sued 2 police officers and a DA investigator, accusing them of framing him, and his legal victory highlights the steep cost of prosecutorial or police misconduct. So my question to you is, my brother, is 38 years would you spend 38 years to get 25 million? I mean, it's a tough way to become a millionaire. You know, it's a tough way to become a millionaire. But if think about it, if you work for 38 years, you're probably not making $25 million unless you are doing some big things, I would think, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But still, I don't know if I did 38 years in prison. That's a hard job. 38 years in prison is a hard job.
And he gets to change his family lineage moving forward. Mm-hmm. You know, he paid, besides his life,
right?
I mean, as far as, you know, if God forbid he was not here, because we do talk about several Black people who their families have gotten settlements, but the person's no longer here. Literally, they paid with their life. But to have 38 years of your life, let's just say 40. You get what I mean? At this point, that you can't get back. Jesus,
that's a tough sacrifice.
Because let me ask you a question: how many times do we see white people wrongfully accused coming out and getting multi-million-dollar settlements? Doesn't really happen.
First of all, we rarely see white people being falsely accused. I mean, it's pretty rare, right?
So think about that for a second. If multiple times per year we're seeing Black men usually come out of prison after decades in prison, how many people are not coming out? How many people don't have the resources? How many people are trying to, I'm swearing I've been innocent. I've been saying I've been innocent for 20 years. How many people don't have the luxury of having their story heard or some of our brothers and sisters go in there and they learn law themselves and then they actually file their own appeal to get themselves out. How many people don't actually get out that are sitting in there right now that are innocent? So it kind of puts my mind on a larger problem that we always have known existed. I can't even get my words together right now. It's just there needs to be a sweep. There needs to be a sweep of how many people are saying they're innocent, because he might be the 1% that actually are innocent that get out. And but enjoy your life, enjoy the rest of your life, take your family out. God, don't fall into the lottery syndrome where
don't spend the 25 million and have your family be broke in the next few years.
And the bad thing is everybody know you got it.
That's true.
It's the bad thing.
Listen, but
you talk about a welcome home party. If you'd have came home broke, it'd have been 2 people there, your wife and your kid. And then the welcome home party for this brother, and shout out to it, he deserves a welcome home party. Now follow me. He deserves a big welcome wagon, but everybody ain't there for the same reasons.
I don't know. A lot of his friends probably don't.
So when the check cleared, did the check clear already? Yeah. So now you got that, and depending on how you handle this, you mess around and be like, man, I had more peace when I was out. So again, we pray that that you handle it right. God bless them. I always like to see people win. It's a shame you had to go through this to get to where you're at, but shout out to him. Enjoy your life now. You deserve it. You earned it.
Well, listen, well earned. That's the toughest 25 million anybody ever made.
Facts.
For sure. But
facts.
I'm glad to see that, like you said, he can now spend some time, hopefully, with his family, secure his family's legacy for the future. Hopefully get some good advice. Maybe when he's in prison, hopefully read a book or 2 on how to invest and that sort of thing, and take care of his family moving forward. But that's definitely a tough way to get it.
Definitely.
Anyway, I certainly. What else? I know that there are a couple other things that were going on. Obviously, I don't put everything that's going on in the news on our rundown for
we be here till 6 p.m.
Exactly. Y'all would be definitely checking out. But I know TikTok went down this week. I know that's something that you use in your business and use to communicate. You up or down on on the TikTok deal?
I'm very down on this, y'all. The concentration of people who own media, and again, let's just be for real here. If we look and we say, okay, Google's owned by Jewish people, Meta, Instagram, Facebook's owned by Jewish people. Now TikTok's owned by Jewish people. So Larry Ellison is Jewish. He's the richest Jewish person in the world now. 4th richest person in the world, but richest Jewish person in the world. So now what we have is a concentration of you already remember. You've already spent the last 50 to 100 years owning all the, you own Comcast, you own Disney, you own ABC, you own NBC, you own all the media companies that were traditional media. Now you own all the social media companies as well. So very, very problematic. I expect that there's going to be major repercussions. It's not hard to transcribe somebody's comments anymore or know. Every time you make a video online, it transcribes it. You'll have the option when you post your video to actually put the transcription up because they might want to add subtitles. And so for those who are hard of hearing, so if you can hit a button and then subtitles pop up on your video, that means it's a transcription of everything you said. So what I could see happening now that we have Larry Ellison owning TikTok, who is Trump's boy, and just Larry Ellison, again, he was 1/3 of the people who were in that room when Trump announced that they were doing a total AI infrastructure investment. I think it was $500 billion or $2 trillion. It's a very large number. 3 people in that room. Larry Ellison was one. I think Sam Altman, who runs ChatGPT, and then another person. So Larry Ellison, who runs Oracle, very big deal. And now he's going to own TikTok. So I think we could see a day where if you say something about President Trump, like literally you're flagged, you get a flag, you get a strike, it's monitored. And that's going to be tough. So I can't, I just
got on the TikTok recently.
You're right.
So I can I'm sure I can let it go.
You should have jumped on 3 years ago. It's like you came 3 years late to the party, and I was late. I got on TikTok 2021 and I was late, but now, it's kind of like you walk into the club, you got your whole outfit on, and then they turning the lights on. Yeah. Hey, what you mean? Yeah, party over, man. Yeah, it just got shut down.
Yeah. Listen, I'm not sure what TikTok's going to be, but I'm also not sure I want to be there to see what it's going to be now. But listen, at least that millions of people can make their little videos and make some money. I don't begrudge people for that. But
and here's the thing. And here's the thing. Get Black with me and Curtis. I like because she said all people have to disable the app. If all people have to disable the app, this is like without TikTok, you really wouldn't know what's happening in Gaza to the degree we know. Right. Instagram too, but TikTok was huge. Like, this is the media. So if the problem with this, why this is so, to use Curtis' terms, problematic, is because what we talked about 30 minutes ago was independent media continuing to put up the resistance. And independent media continues to be the last bastion of vote. Okay, the free press is no longer free. We see that there's compromise. We know Jeff Bezos owns the Washington Post. We know, all right, Rupert Murdoch owns this paper, the New York Times. We know, okay, so we can't trust these sources anymore. But what we had was independent media. And independent media is, hey, I just started this YouTube channel. I just started this Facebook channel. I just started this TikTok channel. And I'm a broadcaster and I'm a journalist and I'm going to do this. And so when they just say, cut that, if you don't have a bunch of people going to your personal website, then where are we going to get our independent media if they decide that what we did with again, TikTok was the last one. They already got Meta. They already had Zuckerberg, as I think Brian pointed out. Zuckerberg, he was at dinner with Trump. Since the inauguration, Zuckerberg has been hey, listen, whatever I could do. Hey, didn't you do? Hey, yeah, I'm sorry I did that. Biden made me do it. So Zuckerberg has been trying to get into the good graces of Trump since the inauguration. He's done it. Facebook's compromised. YouTube owned by people who are, again, we know who owns YouTube. Look it up. So TikTok was the last one. So if they decide strike, we have no independent media. And then that's when I really think we are in serious trouble in America. And I don't know.
Why did I just have a flashback when you were saying that? And I was like, take that. I don't know. I had a Diddy thing pop into my head when you were making that point. I don't know. I'm sorry.
I was going to ask you to end on something happy because I feel like we need to end on something happy. And I usually, I look to you for that.
Listen, I can find the comedy in almost any situation because what we're seeing is a comedy of errors, unfortunately, right now. But seriously, folks, we're laughing at some serious things, though. I can't help but every week I say this as I'm going through my preparation process to produce this show, to come up with the topics we're gonna. It's really a depressing thing sometimes. It really is because and this is what it is. I possess the ability to think critically about things. And when I see these things happening, it's not a far leap to see where they can lead, to understand what the implications of these things are. And I hope that this show is allowing you to examine some of these things that we bring up and realize that things may be crumbling around us. And I know we as people of faith, God will provide and all that sort of thing. I get all that, but are we also ready? Are we getting the clues? The handwriting's on the wall. And if you get ready, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready, somebody once said. And I think we ought to be ready. And if you're not ready yet, you should be preparing, and I mean with haste right now, because we are truly in demon season right now. And if you don't see that in America, it's because you don't want to see it. And maybe you just don't want to accept it, but there's sufficient enough evidence, I think, at this point to support the claim that what we're seeing is demonically engineered, And if you believe in God, you know that the Satan doesn't have much power without what God allows. So anyway, study for yourselves. I definitely encourage you to seek answers from the Lord, from the Bible, from wherever your spiritual base is, pastors or teachers that you respect, that sort of thing. But certainly there's something going on in this time, and I don't want you to miss it. So clearly we're trying to at least give you information that will allow you to be woke, stay woke,
absolutely,
to understand what's going on around you. Anything you want to say in closing, my brother?
I like that comment. Get black with me. You're right. It's like any app can be replicated, and again, that puts the faith in the people. Like, okay, y'all want to cut off all the apps, then let's make new apps. And these things may have not been birthed without you trying to oppress us. And so if them hijacking and commandeering all the social media apps leads to, there's always a solution. So I like that. Like, okay, take those. Y'all can have that. Because at the end of the day, we made that anyway. Like, the people made that. So if you think y'all made that, what is it going to be when you don't have the people? So I love that. And all I want to end with is there's a wonderful game called Top 5.
Top 5.
Haha. Shout out to everybody who's written me, emailed me. We continue to make this is a party game. It's free. You don't have to worry about it. This, instead of playing Uno, spades, pull out Top 5 and you'll see what it is you already played it. You've literally, every time you talk about your favorite anything, your favorite comedians, your favorite music, rap songs, your favorite rappers, favorite athletes, you're already playing top 5. We just put over 130 categories in there, and you can actually just hit start. What comes up? Top 5 athletes of all time. That's a good one. So you break it out, and we just find that the conversation that comes from it, what you learn about what you have in common with people is amazing, but also the debating your what you need to stand on. You know what I mean? If you get to top 5, 90 sitcoms and Three's Company is in there. Yeah, after you throw Three's Company out, you might get eaten up by the room, even though it's worthy. You get what I'm saying? Even though, okay, great show, but come on, top 5. And so, and I'm only saying this because Three's Company was in my dad's top 5. So go play it. Continue to write us back. Anytime you have a suggestion, there's a button right at the top. It'll email us. We just want to continue to make it better, run faster, run easier. We got another like 40 categories we're going to add over the weekend. So again, in this world of disconnection and lack of conversation and difference, my goal with top 5 is to bring connection and commonality and conversation. And, I hope you guys will join us in, trying to achieve that mission.
Absolutely. And that's something we woefully need right now, is to talk to each other, communicate with one another. And, I just snuck my reference code in there. I don't know, just in case you need it.
You see when you sign up, it'll ask you
what it is.
Yeah, it'll ask you who referred you. But again, guys, I just to end, thank you for always joining us. We're here every Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern time. We try our best with the help of the Holy Spirit, and a phenomenal show laid out by Curtis, and gathering topics to bring you what happened this week, to discuss it, open mind, get you guys ideas, get feedback, and then really just, stay together, plot our course. And as Curtis always says, stay woke, stay ready, so we don't have to get ready. So please continue to meet us here. And that's all I got, Curtis. What you got?
Thanks to all our co-hosts that checked in. I see some new co-hosts checking in, and it's very exciting to see you engage with us. Very important part of our show. So continue to do that. We're here every Friday at noon. We hope to meet you here again next Friday. And listen, if there's things that are going on, if you can reach out to us, let us know, because we want to stay abreast and keep this community that we built in abreast of what's going on. Check out Hello Black America. We still got our rep2025.org stuff out there. So definitely go out and check that out and understand what it is that we're talking about, or go back and look at our Hello Black America content that we've got out there. And you'll understand a little bit better where we're coming from. We appreciate you all joining us on This Week in Black America. We'll look forward to meeting you again at the next appointed time. Until that time, thank you for joining us. And that's it for us on This Week in Black America.
Hello, Black America. Hello, Black